Alright, so my name's Adrian. Welcome to the channel where we talk about TV shows and movies, but mostly The Walking Dead. Today we're talking about The Walking Dead, more specifically, The Walking Dead comic books. So this is The Walking Dead comic books right here. I've got it on my screen. I'm going to be doing my review. I'm doing my review completely filled with spoilers, so as a warning for that. And also, I'm going to be doing the review as if you've read the comic and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you've not read the comic, this video is completely useless to you. Okay, so the cover is the cover with the half-dead Carl, and it's pretty cool. I've got an online copy here that I purchased from Comixology, and it's the cover that I had the most anticipation for. The whole thing was, my prediction was about Carl and the way that he's wearing the murder jacket, but that never happened. In fact, it was actually very Rick revolved, not really Carl. The comic starts off with the argument between Dwight and Rick, and then it kind of that whole situation is still escalating, still getting worse, and there's just not an awful lot that seems to be coming out of it. But you know, it carries on, and then we get the scene with Carl and Lydia, and then we get the scene straight after that with Carl and Sophia, which I thought was amazing. So we've not seen Carl and Sophia communicate in any way in a good, God, it's got to be 12 to 20 issues. So that was a really nice scene. The fact that they're talking about sex and then it just ends with, well, this is my room, yep, good night. It made me laugh, I have to say. So yeah, all of this is, you know, standard stuff, just, you know, standard filler stuff, but it's good filler because it is explaining more things, and it's also kind of evolving the story. And then a small scene with Magna and Yumiko, which I was very excited about because we're about to see Magna, Yumiko, Luke, Connie, and Kelly in the Walking Dead TV show. But I like the scene because they're talking about a war, but then they're quite optimistic because they don't think it should turn into a war. They're quite, you know, they're talking about how it's probably not going to turn into a war. And but something else that I also noticed was that Magna said that she would rather she would rather fight in a war than actually leave the community. So that was great. Then there was the scene at the table where Rick bursts out into tears, saying that he wishes Andrea would have seen the Commonwealth. I like that scene because it shows that Rick hasn't completely forgotten Andrea, and it was just a really nice scene to see. And then we move on to the kissing scene with Eugene and Stephanie. I really don't have anything to say about that. The Rick and Pamela scene, so that's a good one because it shows that Pamela thinks she is better than everybody else. We already knew that, and she does think that, and she genuinely thinks that her being the governor changes everything. It makes her 10 times more important than someone who works in a bakery, which is kind of how the real world works, but not how Rick wants his world to work. It's a very complicated situation. I'm not really going to get into it in this video, but it shows straight after that Dwight testing the soldiers, basically getting into a kerfuffle with them and then surrendering to see what the public would say. And they ended up saying, like, don't hurt that man, he's done nothing wrong. And that was the experiment that he was going with. That's what he wanted to show. Then there's a scene with Rick and Dwight in the cell, where Rick basically tells Dwight that he needs to stop what he's doing right now because what he's doing is dangerous. And then they go outside, and then there's that legendary panel where it says, Rick Grimes, you are the leader the Commonwealth needs. Sorry, that was very loud. I apologize. I'm sorry. You okay? Cool. So, Rick becoming the leader of the Commonwealth. I don't know. I don't know if I think that's a good idea at all. I don't know if that's what's best for the comic books or the character at all. I really don't know if that's a good idea. So, of course, Mercer sees the fact that Rick is probably capable of becoming a leader of the Commonwealth, and that he thinks that Rick is meant to be the leader of the Commonwealth. But I don't know if I really like that idea of Rick becoming a leader of so many people. 50,000 people used to live here, now it's a ghost town. But 50,000 people in one community. That's not what the Walking Dead is about. I was all for this idea because I thought it was going to turn into this whole revolution. And then all these people split between the communities. Problem is, there's too many people to split between the communities. So this can only end badly. This can only end badly. People are going to die, and a lot of them. I have nothing to say about it. I really don't. But I do think that they need to rethink the whole Rick becoming the leader of the Commonwealth. And they need to show us something different. Now, I'm probably confusing the hell out of you because I'm confusing the hell out of me. But what I'm trying to say is Rick shouldn't be leading the Commonwealth. He should be leading Alexandria, and Alexandria solely. They need to find somebody else to lead the Commonwealth. Pamela needs to die, and they need to find a new leader. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but I haven't really got the whole ideas properly down. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rate the comic, tell you what I thought about it, what parts were cool, but then I'm going to do a follow-up video, maybe tomorrow, or maybe even today, about all of the stuff that's happened in this issue that could affect the comics in the future, some of my predictions for the next issue, but I usually do I'm going to do my predictions for the next issue towards the end of the month, like I did for this one and a couple before, but I can still do predictions for the future and talk about where the story could go and what I think is good for the story. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I rate this comic. Okay, there was a lot. It was emotional because of the whole Rick crying over Andrea. It was developing. The whole Rick and Dwight situation is developed. The whole, Mercer's trying to overthrow Pamela's been developed because now he knows he's found somebody that could lead them instead of Pamela. So 6.5, because there wasn't a lot of anything else other than development. Now, there has to be issues like this where it just develops and develops and develops, but there wasn't enough in this to warrant an entire issue. I just wish they'd go back to the Hilltop and do an issue there, rather than just show 2 pages of Hilltop and the rest at Commonwealth. We've seen enough Commonwealth. I know you need to develop the story, but let's tone it back a bit, Next issue is going to be all Commonwealth. The cover is of Rick protecting Pamela. It's going to be at the Commonwealth. And I just hope they redeem themselves for this issue. 6.5, I'm hoping for a 7 or a 7.5 next month. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, like. If you didn't, don't like. Dislike, whatever you want. And I'm going to do a follow-up video on what I think is going to be in the future, what I think is going to be happening in the future, some of my predictions. And I'm very excited for the next couple of issues because something needs to change. There's been too many filler issues, there's been too many slow issues, and it's very disappointing. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like or not, and I will see you in the next one. Adios. I've got to click stop recording. Adios.